What's up, ladies and gentlemen? No Zoop for you here, and today we're going to talk about what I think is the most overpowered weapon in all of Call of Duty Vanguard. And this is primarily for the multiplayer version. I wouldn't take this out into Warzone. I mean, unless maybe I was in a close quarter situation where I knew I had a tactical advantage, but overall this is primarily for multiplayer in Vanguard, and it's the combat shotgun. Just gonna come out and say it. This thing is literally a god gun. I mean, it is probably one of the most powerful weapons I've ever touched, especially on maps like close quarter maps. It's just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. So I'm gonna go into what I've got mine kitted out with and go from there. I'll let this video speak for itself. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious from watching this video that this thing is absolutely disgusting. It's a hell of a lot of fun, though. I mean, absolutely fun. It's a blast to play. I love shotguns. I really do. And shotguns are one of those weapons that are really hard to get right. They're either overpowered or they're not strong enough. And I know the double barrel shotgun got a nerf, and that caused it to be a little weaker than it used to play. This has not gotten a nerf yet. And as a result, it is just still absolutely devastating. So we're going to talk first Muzzle. I take the A5 smoothbore. I like that wider pellet spread just because if you have a gaggle of enemies near you, you have a better chance of hitting all of them. So I think that works very well with this weapon. For the barrel, I use sawed off. That again gives even wider pellet spread, so you're kind of stacking that double wide pellet spread. I don't feel that it sacrifices too much either. Damage on this is a definite pro, as well as movement speed. Recoil control and accuracy, I'm not too concerned about that with this weapon. Optic, I use the G16 2.5X. I just slap an optic on there. If you're going for some of the camouflage out there that requires you to load out 10 different attachments, then it's important to have this on there. For stock, I use the GCG2M wire. That increases the sprint to fire speed and movement speed, which is important for a loadout like this. I feel it's a good happy medium. It doesn't sacrifice too much accuracy, even though it does take your initial accuracy and recoil down just a little bit. But you're going to be hip firing this thing primarily, so that really doesn't matter that much. For the underbarrel, I use the M1941 hand stop. That does help with your recoil control and accuracy, though it does take away from hip fire. Doesn't hurt your speed, which is very important, because you want to have that balance between speed and accuracy. For magazine, I kit this thing out with a 16 gauge 10 round drums. You want as much ammo in this thing as possible. You want to minimize having to reload on this, and part of the reason why is if you get in a kill chain, the last thing you want to do is have to stop to reload, and that happens very often with this weapon. You get a lot of kill chains. So yes, this does hurt your reload quickness and movement speed just a tad. It does hurt your aim down sight speed, but you're not going to really be aiming down sight in this thing. This is just a completely run and gun type of weapon right there, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Ammo type, buck and slug. It's a really nice combination right there. Rear grip, I use the stippled grip. That increases your recoil recovery, which is very important for that weapon in my opinion. It allows you to reset and fire again, and it also helps to offset your initial accuracy and recoil that was taken down a notch with the other attachments that we picked. Lastly, proficiencies. Now this is an interesting one, but I choose Vital on this because it increases the area for critical hits. So it's going to help with those upper body shots, those headshots, and it's going to help give you those one-shot kills, in my opinion. I really think that this is the best match for this weapon. And when you've got, again, a gaggle of enemies there, it helps more than one. It really works to slaughter those small tight groups of enemies that you might come across. And lastly, I kit this thing out with quick as well. Obviously speed's important. You don't really need fully loaded or anything else, so that is what I roll with in this. Now, one of the things I do, everybody does this, I pair this up with Overkill and the Combat Shield to protect your rear. It does help a little bit, though, if people aim for your legs, especially with a shotgun like this. I can one-shot kill someone in the legs with this thing, which is, again, very disgusting. The other two perks, I kind of flip back and forth. Right now I'm running Tracker on it. I really don't feel that piercing vision gives you too much just because this is a one-hit kill machine and you're not really throwing lead down range in it. It's up close and personal. So I think tracker is a pretty good fit for this. And then for your tactics, I've been experimenting with Serpentine. I feel Serpentine is a pretty good fit for it. It works pretty well. You want that reduced damage when you're sprinting. So for now, I'm going to keep Serpentine on there. I've also used Ninja and things like that, but really it's up to you. Lastly, Lethal Incendiary Grenade for tight quarters maps. I still think that this is very overpowered as far as your throwables are concerned, and for tactical, I use the heal. But if you're going for a challenge, you know, I use stun grenade, smoke, doesn't really matter. Smoke's kind of fun because you can just throw it on tight quarters maps and just pretty much spray and pray and still nail people. So overall, this weapon is disgusting. I definitely think it's the most overpowered weapon in the game. We'll see if they nerf it eventually. They should. And I'm just going to let this video continue to run out because this is just going to give you the full feel of how absolutely disgusting this weapon is. I think I tripled the kills of the closest individual on my team and the other team. So just a lot of fun. Really, really fun weapon. Hope you all are doing great. Zoop out.